On this episode of DockSide TV, we're going to take a ride with Captain Chris Roberts, catching big trout like this on hard baits, matrix mullets, matrix minnows, and some soft plastic matrix shads.
So come tag along and take a ride with us in Lake Pontchartrain, catch a big mule trout.
All right, well, what's going on right now in Lake Pontchartrain and how we found these fish and why these fish are set up the way where they are. The whole, you can almost draw a straight line. It's like from mid-lake or so, south is a disaster with the Bonacary spillway being open and the fresh water pouring into the lake. North is holding clean water and it's compressing this good, clean, little bit of salt in the water. It's compressing it all on the north end. So the spillway obviously is not a good thing for fishing that year. I'm sorry, that spring during that time, but it's going to make it real good for the fall. But another thing it does, it compresses the fish. It consolidates it to where we know to just go ahead and don't even worry about the south. Well, you know, we have caught them on the south end we caught them a couple weeks ago, but right now everything's compressed into the northern end. And this shoreline that we found them on, it's not a place we typically catch them. There's nothing really on the shoreline. It's not like it's real grassy. There's a beautiful grass line. I think these fish are just compressed. They're just shoved up against this northern bank. And when we found them like that in the shallows, we knew we could get them on hard baits, and that's what we did. So the trick, the things you're going to want to look for over the next few weeks, next few months, as we still deal with the spillway until it clears up, you want to find pockets of clean water. You know, if that water's got 2 to 3 foot of visibility, it's good. It's got a chance of having some really big trout in it. So we try a lot of weird and oddball things on spillway openings because it'll put fish in areas that they're not normally at. Got a fish on here. Versus line got caught up.
Look at that. You saw that? That's how you do it.
Fastest way to get it untangled, bite it.
When in doubt, cut it out.
The good thing about these hard baits, man, it's big fish. You want to put one on the wall. There's no better option than top waters and jerk baits. That's a good fish here. We miss him. That's a good fish here, Papa. Coming up hot. You see how I flipped that fish? Now, we certainly could have used the net on that one, but if you're gonna flip a fish, it's all about the momentum. The moment I saw his head starting to torpedo up towards the surface, I just kept pressure on him, kept him coming. Look at that beautiful shot right there. Solid 3.5 pound chunk on the Nightmare Matrix Minnow. I love this color right here. Chunkies. When we're fishing hard baits on shallow flats, and this was a textbook style day, that first hour of daylight, top water, no doubt. That's what you want to do. That's where your biggest fish are going to come from. That's the best. Then typically that top water bite's going to fade. It don't mean the fish left. It don't necessarily mean they quit biting. For whatever reason, a lot of times After that first hour, they get off the topwater bite, and you're gonna have to catch them another way, whether it's subsurface baits or on a jig or under a cork or whatever. This particular day, we made the same exact drift that we were making with the topwaters. Eventually it got to where we made a drift, didn't get a bite. I switched over to the matrix minnows, started ripping that about 3 foot under the water. You work the matrix minnow almost identically to the topwaters. Rod tip down, twitch, 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 pause, railing you slack. Twitch, 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 pause, railing you slack. And we ended up catching them really good. Boys, take it easy, dogs. Got my killers back there. Drake, take it easy. But anyway, textbook day, after the topwater bite started to fade, switched to the suspended bait, the matrix minnow, and I started catching back up to Chris. I was wearing him out on that. Eventually Chris switched over and we were both catching them on a suspended bait. Chris is wanting a matrix minnow now. I told him $15 a lure. They get expensive on the boat. Oh yeah.
They just went suspended on us.
Went suspended. And that's a very common thing when you fish at shorelines, shallow water for big trout. Top water time is that first hour of daylight is going to be key for the top water. And then once you feel that bite slow down, usually you just switch to a suspended bait. It makes all the difference in the world. All right, we started off the morning throwing nothing but top waters, the first 2 drifts on the shoreline. Captain Chris, for whatever reason, had the hot hand, whether his cadence was right with walking the dog, or maybe he was using a color that they really were favoring. Not really sure what the deal was, but he had 6 or 7 trout in the box before I had any. He had to have 10 blow-ups on the first drift to I think I had 1, and I actually missed that fish, the one that I did have. So it kind of shows you how important it is. Like when you're working top water, don't just do the same thing every time. Different cadences can be the difference, whether it's twitch, twitch, pause, or pause for 2 seconds, or twitch, 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 pause for 5 seconds and let the bait sit, or just twitch it without any pauses. I mean, you really want to change it up. Those fish, they'll trigger onto different situations and different things. But typically, color isn't really important. I mean, top water is a reaction bite. That's the key. And to top water, them fish are just hearing it, they're seeing it, and they're just crushing it. And it's by far the most fun way to fish.
Alright, the sun came up a little bit. Fish got a little bit deeper. Kind of moved off the shoreline a little bit, got in a little bit deeper water. Went to the matrix. 3/8 ounce golden eye jig head. Still catching some big beautiful fish with it. The color of that fish. Beautiful color.
Alright, well, we went ahead and caught them 3 different ways today. Started off with the top waters, catching some of the bigger fish in the morning. Switched over to the jerk baits, caught most of them on that. And here we're gonna go ahead and end the video on this one right here. As the sun came up and got a little bit brighter, we came off the shoreline a good ways, started trolling some matrix shads on goldeneye jig heads, and still catching some trout. We're gonna go ahead and call it a day here. The sun finally came out as this cold front passed. The bite has substantially slowed down. Had a fun day with Captain Chris. Make sure to check out all of our DockSide TV episodes at matrixshad.com. And if you want to book a charter and get on action like this, give Chris a call. Let him know your number, Chris.
Area code 228-284-9502. Till next time, good fishing.